Well, here's the start of the ride. I think I started filming, if I remember right, maybe, I don't know, just like 3 minutes in. So we don't see the very, very start line. Just like City of Rocks, even though I didn't film it, I did keep him at the start line and I just sat on him for a minute or two to let all the other riders go out. Just to ensure that he didn't get too race brainy or anything. And he did amazingly well. In fact, over his first 40 minutes of riding, you'll see more than race brain is I actually have a little bit of a challenge getting him to motivate to move on. So definitely a little bit different than City of Rocks.
Thanks, Mary.
I guess my training has paid off. Made him
Cheers.
more calm than I even expected.
He's doing good.
That was the photographer there. She's a great lady. And I actually don't trot him much on the road while mounted, but I did there to see if we can get a good photograph, and in fact we did. In fact, I might put it in here.
I know.
So the first 40 minutes of this ride is the most boring and the hardest part of the ride in terms of training, because he stops several times and I kind of have to like work with him. There's a few times I have to move his feet a little bit on the ground. This spot is the first spot he stops and kind of gives me a little bit of trouble. And by the way, I was planning on dismounting a lot through the ride, so that is fine. But again, the moral of the story is that there's a few times where I tap him with the reins on his neck. I know that that's not a great tool for like forward impulsion because it's in front of the drive line. It's better to, if you're going to pressure them, to pressure behind the drive line. And anyway, the moral of the story is, if you don't want to see kind of my
Go on, Nico.
portions where I have to encourage him to just move forward, and we have a few arguments. There's one spot in particular where we have an argument. I have to dismount and I like circle him for a second and stuff like that. Get behind his butt and move his feet a little bit. Again, right here he's just stopping and I have to like get off. So anyway, I know in the horse world there's so many opinions on training and how you should do things with your horse, and I do things in my way and they actually work pretty well. But even with doing things pretty well, I know there's a lot of these areas I could have done better, and I've watched this film like 5 times already, and I already have things that I will adjust in training. And again, this 40 minutes, as you bear with me through it, is definitely the hardest segment of the entire ride. After this, he's so much better. And if you watch part 2, my second hour of filmed footage, you'll just see how amazing he does once he's kind of woken up. So we had just done this portion of the ride the day previously on the intro ride. So my honest assessment is that he was just like, oh, I did this yesterday, I don't really want to do it again. Kind of being, I don't like to call him lazy, but I think that's kind of what it is. It's just trying to get his mind involved into the ride. So again, I know there's some parts where my horsemanship isn't perfect, or maybe it's not even good, but it works for us. And again, I do know and have strategies to make sure that things are improved in our personal training, and I'm not worried about it at all. So bear with me, and I'm again posting this footage for educational purposes so you guys can see how an average person, which is me, survives through these things. And I try to put out of my mind at all times what everyone else is doing, and I just do what I need to do with my horse to complete the ride successfully. And in this case, that included moving his feet a few times, which I think is totally fine. So thank you, and cheers. We'll continue on watching.
Let's go. Let's go.
So one of the reasons that my game plan was to mostly run or be dismounted on the road portion. As you can see, this is actually a really good road.
You gotta wake up.
Not a lot of huge rocks or anything, just kind of that, little gravel. And then I ride him, when I'm riding him, I mostly ride him on the side of the road. He is barefoot. We do have 2 scoot boots on the front. And this is kind of the saga of this whole event, was my difficulties with his feet. His feet are really good. But up to this point, I don't have a farrier. I do his feet myself. And in doing them myself, I tried for a whole solid month before this ride to figure out a better hoof solution. I bought some glue-on shoes. I even kind of tried to talk to my sister's farrier to see if I could get some help. The moral of the story is that nothing worked out. The glue-ons didn't work out. Getting an actual farrier didn't work out. Nothing worked.
What do you see?
And so we're here with just our front 2 scoot boots.
Let's go.
And the rest barefoot, and then we actually end up losing the scoot boots. So that's kind of the trial that I was dealing with this whole ride. And thank heavens that his feet are amazingly really good. This year, that was a very good stop. He saw, I think that he's just looking at that pavilion off in the distance. And then he continued on very politely. That was very good. You will see coming up that there are some stops that are not so good and that we need to do some training on. But anyway, yeah, barefoot. That's why my plan is on this road, I was going to run him as much as I could on the ground.
Let's get back on the road. Good boy. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Keep going. This way. Keep going.
I think you'll see, if you did watch my City of Rocks video, one thing that's amazing with this is, I mean, just look how good and calm he's moving out. Yes, he's peaked at a few things. I might not see him later on. We do see some buffalo, I believe. There's bison and buffalo all over the island, and he might see them because his eyesight's a little better, and I'm just focused on just riding. But overall, I'm very proud with just how calm he is. He's got a great mind. He really does. And the improvements from City of Rock to this ride, as far as his calmness, is pretty substantial. It's pretty crazy. Again, we're just getting a good little trot here. He's going on really calmly. It's great. In fact, this whole portion, and you'll see here in a few minutes when I have to get off and move his feet a little bit. Most everything that's wrong with this portion has to do more with our lack of impulsion, our lack of moving forward, versus City of Rocks was, we were working with race brain. Now we're working with the opposite, so we do have some struggles, and that's fine, and we get through them. It just isn't always super pretty, but yeah, just interesting that we had different obstacles to overcome as a team.
Keep going, bud. Let's go.
Okay, so here's the first real challenge.
Nico.
It's not horrible, but it's not great.
Let's go.
Oh, by the way, that little tap on his face, that was for a fly. Yeah, the flies were just bad this entire ride. But anyway, this is our first struggle. He wasn't moving forward, so I dismounted and ran with him, and it turned out okay. This one wasn't that bad at all. Some of the ones moving forward are a little bit more difficult, as you'll see.
Drop. Come on.
But no worries either, being back on the ground running. I really do enjoy running with him. And it's a beautiful day, so... And like I've said before, this is all in the game plan, was to run some anyway.
Come on. Come on. What? Someone coming up there? Yeah. All right, let's go.
This part here is totally a little bit different. So you'll see in there in the back, there's a horse that comes up from behind. That's why he stops here. So this is actually another thing that I need to work on. I ride almost 100% of the time alone at home. I don't have much people to ride with. My sister can come sometimes. So yes, he's just kind of being a little bit stubborn here, which is fine.
You just tired?
So I get there, I move his butt a little bit just to like wake him up.
That's okay.
And then actually what I do, I realize that fighting him right now is not going to be productive. I just let the other horse pass and then move on. He is not tired there, like I say in the comments. So it took me a second to realize that there's another rider coming up. He can see it before I do because I'm so focused on the ride. But that is why he stopped here. It's a little bit different than his previous stop. So again, we definitely have things to work on, but that's totally fine, by the way. For me, it's a little bit embarrassing, you know, when like these riders come up and, you know, my horse is like not moving out. But I try to just take a deep breath and realize my ride is my ride. Doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. I'll work with my horse. It's fine.
Nico.
He knows we're pointing home now too. This is one of, I think, the biggest arguments that we have.
That's what we're gonna do.
So I try to turn his head. He's still moving. I think I dismount again here. Yeah, again.
Wake up.
This is something I need to work on training at home. Now is not the time to like argue with him with this here. I do move his feet a little bit here because that was him definitely not listening to me. So I need to move his feet. By the way, these little hits, these are biothane reins. They do not hurt. I barely hit him. So don't worry too much about it. It's he really needs at this point to realize that he has to listen at some point. I get these fixed. Don't worry about that.
Nope. Let's go. Let's go. Can't be lazy. Let's go. Come on.
But I think that segment there of this whole entire ride was probably our biggest argument.
We need to get off this road. Come on. Okay. Go down here. Come on. Let's go.
This dismount here is actually on purpose. So once I had moved his feet and got him to trot out a little bit, I still don't want to run him on the road while mounted generally. So I dismounted on purpose this time and then set off from there, even though I guess I come off here to the side bush where I could ride him anyway. But the moral of the story is that was a purposeful dismount, which is fine, as opposed to dismounting to wake him up again. It is interesting to me that this ride is again opposed to City of Rocks. I, in several instances, and even some spots in about hour 3 or 4 later on the ride that the GoPro wasn't running. I do actually, interestingly, worry about when other horses passed by, as he became kind of like, oh, I just want to stop. Versus the City of Rocks is like, oh, I want to race, or I want to stick with them. So it's just a different, interesting dynamic in his mind, where I've been working so much on his calmness that he almost took it too much to heart, which is fine. We'll find the balance.
Yeah.
But different challenges, and I think I might have already mentioned that. But anyway, it's just interesting.
Okay, let's go. Nope, come on. Nico.
Here's another little argument. I don't know exactly what was going on with this stop. I don't think there's other horses in view. Maybe behind us. I can't really remember. This time my main thought was just to keep him moving while mounted. That's why I kind of tapped him there with the reins a lot. By the way, that does not hurt him. And so you might be wondering, like, oh, why don't I ride with a crop just to give him like one solid little bop? Because that's honestly way better than the reins, just like one bop, and they're moving forward very easily, and it's very fair to their mind. The reason I don't ride with a crop generally is because his impulsion is usually so great. He honestly just goes out very good. So this whole segment was kind of just new and different, which I attribute it to being. This is the second time we've ridden on this track, back-to-back days, and also we're just in a new area, not at home in our usual training area, so that's why. So again, just some things to iron out in training, which again is totally fine. Again, another purposeful dismount after he had been running really good under saddle, and I dismount and give him save his feet here on the road. So that was a purposeful stop, purposeful dismount, which is good. And I actually I'm trying to get better. In fact, later you'll see I try to do a walking mount. Okay. So that was kind of, I've trained him last winter to like stop whenever I fall off. Which I don't fall off a lot, but I trained him for that anyway. So now anyway, if I try to dismount him while walking, he will stop. So it's just kind of a funny thing. Here some other riders come to pass, so in this case I just stop and let them go. I believe I get on here. I tried to use their rubber band, try to like pull him along.
Hey, good luck.
He didn't kind of take it, which is again interesting. Like I mentioned before about with City of Rocks, he would have been right in their butt. But this time he's just like, oh, you guys are passing, I don't really care.
There you go.
Different state of mind. Really interesting to see. This was a better pass though than the other, the first rider we saw a minute ago. Not nearly as much argument or as encouragement to get moving forward, which is really good.
Get off this freaking road. You want to catch them? Let's go. I know. You come down here? Okay. One more mile, bud. Of the road. All right, up here. I know.
I feel like it's around here where we finally start to get into rhythm, where anywhere there's like a decently good portion of off-road segment where we're riding and trotting out very smoothly, and then when the off-road segments are kind of cut off, or like these trees up ahead, I believe I dismount again if I remember right.
Up here.
But it goes much more smoothly. He's moving out fine in saddle, and then we're also making really good time on the ground.
Let's go.
So here, again, all those earlier arguments are kind of out of the way. Again, we're only, what, 15 minutes in the ride, so overall he's doing pretty good. Okay, I guess as I say that, there's another brief little argument. But overall, again, really good. And we're making decent time. This part does feel great. So I am a runner, and I actually genuinely enjoy running with my horse. Obviously here, while doing the race and the event, my GoPro is strapped to my chest, so you don't really get to see my horse much while doing this. You can hear him in the back there. At home, I will just take off his bridle and run with him this at liberty, and he'll just trace me along. On the ride, I'm obviously not going to do that. I'm never going to put any risk of either one, having my horse wander off, even though I know he's very, very good at staying with me. I'm not going to risk it, and I'm not going to risk endangering anyone else or the island, obviously. So I'll keep him on the bridle. But I do enjoy running more without having to hold the bridle behind my, with one arm. It throws off your running momentum a little bit. But at home, we have a lot of fun with this kind of stuff. So we run along a little bit, find another part of
Do you want those boots off or on?
off-road segments. I think I remount here. I actually, in this case, this is interesting. I work with him a lot with being very calm when I saddle
Let's
up.
go.
But this case, I'm actually trying to teach him to kind of do a walking mount, to eventually learn how to do a running mount. So that moment there was actually a good moment, by the way. If I wanted him to stop to mount, I would ask him. So the brief that you heard me say was basically just to get him to slow down enough where I could mount. It's kind of at a walk, because I cannot do it yet at a run. And then I got on. So I know again, this video is transparently showing you all my training victories and failures. But that particular case there, he was doing just fine by keeping walking, and he walked slow enough where I can still leave my foot in the stirrup. I know for a flying mount you kind of just jump on, but I'm still doing it with the stirrup, which is fine. Pulling back here to the road a little bit. I'm just kind of meandering through these, finding the good ground anywhere I can. Keeping as good a ground as possible. There's actually a lot of little potholes in those sandy portions. So always keep an eye out for those. While he does kind of have a tendency towards slightly more, you see those potholes there, slightly more lazy, mentality. He actually is, when he's paying attention like he is now, he sees ears forward and stuff, and he's very, very good with his feet placement, very safe. I still obviously watch for potholes when we steer around him, but for the most part, I just kind of give him his head and let him know where to look, especially where he has some open sight lines here and it's not tall brush or anything. Sticks hitting him in the face a little bit there. I don't mind them hitting me, but yeah, I think we might get back on the road.
Let's go to the high side.
Again, here, once we're in our rhythm, where we're riding, and then when I'm dismounting on purpose, not because he's being honored in any way, but because I really want to, it's actually really good, really smooth riding. I stay mounted here because we're just crossing the road. Across the road there because we were kind of getting rubbed off by bushes. Again, I'm aware of like at least potholes. You'll see them from time to time. Keep an eye on them.
Right here. You pooping? Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go. Nope. Nico. Let's go.
Okay, so a few times, here he stops again. And
not dead
a
yet.
few times previously, when he stopped, I either moved his feet
push you.
or tapped him on the neck briefly. Of all the times, this is the only one where I wish I wouldn't have. That instance there, it was totally my fault. That one was on me. I think I was getting just like a little bit frustrated there. You can see when he stops there, he's actually legitimately looking at something, I think, across the way. I believe there's another horse. And he might have been pooping, I can't remember. But the moral of the story is that he actually, like, if I would have just sat there and waited a second on that one, and then encouraged to move forward by like a little tap with my right foot and a little pull to the left of the reins, he would have gone off just fine. So again, with all the quote-unquote arguments that we've had, this is the only one that I kind of regret, that I think that was my human error by being a little bit frustrated. And so that was just on me, which is okay. Again, I need to, we're learning together, and that's one where I needed to learn and for myself to be calmed down. All the other instances previously, I think that there was genuinely some merit as I've rewatched the video. But again, this one, I don't agree with myself on it, which is fine. Nico forgives me, so so it turns out okay. Cheers.
Almost there. Here. Easy. Okay. Keep going. Come on, stay focused.
This whole part. Nico is just such a good horse. He's such a good boy. I really love working with him. He's a lot of fun. I love his attitude. He's just he's got a great mind, a great personality, and he's a lot of fun to work with. Such a good boy.
Right here. Pay attention. We're almost done. This first part. You wouldn't meander so much, huh? I guess that's my fault. Buddy, what are you tripping for? Pay attention.
Now that little trip, he tripped there totally because he was bored, not paying attention to his feet for sure. See, look at his head going left and right here. He's kind of he's actually so fit that he just gets bored. But we get better with that kind of stuff more and more as the ride goes on.
Take the boots off when we get past this road. Even though we're not on the road, I keep them on in case we try after this road. Pretty relatively smooth sailing. He's tripping because he's breaking boots. Let's go. Come on.
So you'll see right here, it's like literally the only part of the entire video that I edited out just because I had like a rock in my boot. So it took a second to like untie it and pour it out, and there's nothing to watch, so I cut it out. There you go.
Good job, bud. Good. Trot. Got like half a mile left. A little more. Good job, bud. Let's keep going. Hey, drop. Get off this road.
Long segment here where I'm just running with it. I don't know exactly. I'm sure there were some spots we could have ridden off-road, but I felt like we were in a rhythm. We were doing well, making still decent pace. So I just kept on the ground riding with him. there is, I believe this is like 4.7 miles of this road. And my main goal, I'd ridden it the day previous in the intro ride, so my main goal is just to survive this with our feet, so we get off the road.
Here.
And yeah, just get done with this road portion.
Here. I know. All right, let's go.
Legs are so
Let's go.
long.
Let's go. Okay, shot. We're figuring it out. Starting to figure out what he needs to get through this. I hope and anticipate that he'll do much better once we're done with this road portion. Because the trail is a lot more defined and it's back up. There's just a lot of factors. So I can't really jog him on the road, and that's the best trail here. There you go. Stay right here. We still have to go to the cut. I know. You see them horses up there now. Up here. Right here. See right here. Okay. Good job, bud. Yeah, I know. I see him too. Come on. Down here. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Just up there. It's that way. What? Yeah, it's that way. So, yep, there'll be little red plates. The trail is hard to see, but it is that way. Yep, it's like right here. Yep, sorry, good luck. Oh. This foot. Good. This foot. Nope, this foot. Hey. Oh yeah, we're okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate, sorry. Yeah, it's hard. This trail, it is a trail, but it's like game trails. Okay. So just keep your eye for the red and just keep going that way. Yeah, good luck. All right.
I've taken off his boots like this before in training, and I put him on the saddle just like before.
We did in the hard part,
bud. They stayed actually for a while, but they ended up falling off.
Up this way?
I never saw them again. I had every intention of putting them back on the next real rocky portion, but there's about 8 miles here, which is really good, so that's why I took him off, because he likes them better off. You see immediately he starts setting off really good, but anyway, never to be seen again, unfortunately. This whole segment is just a lot of fun. There's several factors. Is one, he does always move out better without his boots on. They fit well, but he just likes it more barefoot. The trail is great, obviously. No rocks at all. I mean, there's big rocks, but they're easy to avoid. No gravel, I should say. And he wants to catch these horses, and he knows that this direction is home. So a lot of those factors, and you can just see he kind of comes to life. Whole different thing. And he's this is a very good catch-up, by the way. He is not out of his mind. He's listening. That one spot where I said ho twice, he slowed down a little bit over the little rocky stretch.
You okay?
Very good here.
Okay, yeah. I kind of want to sit here for a little bit and see how he's doing, Nico's doing. That road is the hardest part because a lot of reasons. He's barefoot in his hinds, and I don't have a fair, it's complicated, but that's why we walked, / I was off him actually most of it to just save his feet. And he has little booties, but anyway, it's a long story. Yep. That's why I took him off down there, because I knew this part is good and they don't fit perfect, so he walks better out without them. Sorry you guys went the wrong way there. It's a little bit tough marked.
We went the other way.
Yeah.
Not a hoof track.
That sucks. Hopefully you didn't go too far. Yeah. And up here, it's like the trail is kind of non-existent at some points. There's the plate on our left, but it's so weird. A bunch of little mini game trails is all there really is. Yep. Hello? Pay attention, pay attention. Walk here. Ooh. Get off your butt. All right. You go in if you want. Okay, you ready? Good boy. Right in the water. All right, back up.
I'm gonna hop off and give her a gun. Rock right here.
Too early, yeah. Good boy.
And what's his breeding?
He's Arabian. He's I think it's Polish or something. He doesn't have like the nose or the dipped face, but
You know sire?
I do. Payback Typhoon from somewhere in Idaho.
Very solid.
He's
He has a great brain.
he's a good boy. I mean, it's actually funny. City of Rocks, he did really well. I mean, but that was our first ride. This ride, he was almost too calm. I'd like wake him up, and it was like, let's go. You know.
He's smart. He says there's gonna be a long day.
Yep. And he knows to go, you know, protect his feet on the rocks, you know, so he was going slow and going his pace.
Yeah,
His feet thing, again, like, so I do him myself, and he's barefoot, and we've done a lot of miles, you know, and the vet knows, like, I've talked with all the appropriate people. It's just I don't have a farrier. And so I'm like waiting to get one, and it's a long story. The moral of the story is I've done everything within my power to make sure he's as safe as possible. But it's still my number one frustration. What's that? Yeah. Oh, you can even go. He's not gonna leave me. But yeah, thanks for asking. Yep. You guys go do whatever you want. I'm just tagging because it's helping his brain. But yeah, and thanks for asking for me to get back on. But he's almost harder to wake up than it is to leave me. Yep. Yep. At home, I take him out to our riding area, and I dismount all the time, and we just take off his bridle and go running, you know? So he's used to it. Oh, sorry about that.
Very, very good.
Good. I even then I still try to be respectful of people's butts. But it's just a little sudden for him. No, you're good. You okay? here. Yeah, there's a little bit of water here. There's 2 of these. One more and then there's no more. There's a tank before we make the turn left.
Yeah, I don't think those were on the map.
I believe it's going to be another probably 1.5 miles, 2 miles. It's before the climb. Easy. Okay, good boy. Oh. Up here on the right, there's some more wire. It's somewhere, I don't remember exactly. It's within the next mile though. It's not on the trail, it's just slightly off to the right. It's not bad, you should be able to see it, but just be aware. It's definitely lower than that one over there. We might even miss it. doing great. There's the plate up there on the left. Yep. Sorry, I'm not trying to backseat. Yeah. Yeah. If I had proper shoes, we would have been with you, because this is his pace. Easy, 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 easy. Take your time. Good. We'll catch up in a minute. There you go. Okay. Okay. You're okay. Catch up slow. Right up here. It's too rocky. We can slow off their butt, okay? Just keep your feet.
Well, there you go. That's part one of the ride. We still obviously have several hours to go in this part, but that's all the GoPro footage I have of this segment. We still do a hill, and then it leads back into base camp, which base camp we got some water and some food really quick. It wasn't an official vet check, but it did stop there so we could refuel. And then we set out on an approximately 12-mile stretch to the first vet hold, which is where part two and my next footage will continue from there. So yeah, great ride so far. As you can see, we definitely had a few like impulsion difficulties and stuff that worked out okay. And this was really the hardest of it though. Like then he was in his groove and we got moving all right. We did have a few spots where we lagged on the 12-mile stretch, but that was just, I think, because we were getting a little bit tired in the heat stuff. But then as you'll see in part two, it's actually some of the best footage I've ever recorded while riding him. It's a really amazing segment, way better, more fun to watch than this one. So go check it out, and don't forget to drop a like and follow. So thanks, cheers.